at about 1 year old or 2 years old, the energy center moves up here. Opposites thinking. Me and you, happy, sad, good, bad, like, and dislike. Opposites thinking happens up here. Actually, this is our thinking center. This is your emotion center. This is your do-it center, your willpower. Also, your original body's energy center. You grew this body without knowing anything. You didn't know language. You grew it yourself. All somebody had to do is put some food in your mouth, and you grew it by yourself. So you have wisdom that is not dependent on thinking. But when we start thinking, we screw up the system and end up with cancer, killing people, killing ourselves, being unhappy. So one point of correct meditation means bring your energy back down. And there's a simple way to do it. And I can teach you right now, and you can use it anywhere. And you won't get in any trouble. Everybody put your finger about 2 inches below your navel, 2 centimeters. Then when you breathe in, let your lower belly come out. And when you breathe out, a little bit push your lower belly in. And exhale. When you exhale, make your exhale about twice as long as your inhale. So breathe in, your belly comes out a little bit. Breathe out, you a little bit pull your belly in and push. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Let everything relax, except poke your belly. Breathe in, relax, breathe out. Slowly breathe out. Try to put your attention in this lower belly area. Breathe in, breathe out. Now try this for a few minutes on your own. Slowly breathe in, your lower belly comes out. Everything relax. Slow, slow breathe out. Poke your finger and pull your lower belly in. Try to put your attention in your lower belly. Koreans call that the tanjang, energy garden. Breathe in, breathe out. Slowly breathe in. Slow, slow, breathe out. Okay, try it one more time and stop. How was that? It's okay? Not okay? Okay. Human beings can live like 40 days without food, with the right attitude even longer. We can live maybe 5 days without liquid, but you can't even live 5 minutes without air. So the most important energy connection with this universe in the physical realm is air. Korean people call the universal energy daegi, great energy. Air or space is kongi, empty energy. Everybody's body has its own original energy, wangi. You know, every energy has a cycle. If you have lots of thinking, lots of emotion, nervousness, anxiety, which we all do sometimes, then your energy cycle and this universe's energy cycle don't connect so well. Then when this universe is changing, very difficult for us to change with the universe. But if you slowly breathe in, slowly breathe out. If you try this for like 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night, after a couple months, your body will start to remember its energy center. If you train in a sport, at a certain point, your body remembers it. And without conscious thinking, you can do things. Same thing in your science. You study something well, when it comes up, automatically you can understand it or get it. Your body can do that, of course. So your body's original energy center returns, then without thinking, without attaching to body desire, universal energy and you connect. They call that harmony energy. Degi, great energy. Kongi, empty air, space energy. And your body's energy, Wangi, become hapki. It means harmony energy. Then this universe changing, you can change together with this universe. One example is getting older. You know, Korea, I think, is the plastic surgery capital of Asia. I don't understand it. To me, you know, I'm a monk, but I can see. I think Korean women are beautiful. Korean men are not so bad looking nowadays. Maybe you have a different idea. But why cut yourself up? You know, maybe if you look really horrible, it's worth it. I know one woman in Hollywood, she's about 85 now. Her face looks about 50. But if you look here or the rest of the body, she's 85. So we're so freaked out about aging. But that's just the universe's energy changing. So your body also changing. That's all. Trees change, everything changes. You become one with this changing world, then no problem. Nowadays, I don't know your country, but in many countries, woman power going up, man power going down. I always tell men, that's great. Because, first of all, men have been running the world for about, I don't know how long, but it's a mess. Let the women do it. They're creative now, they've got energy and enthusiasm. We can hang around, do lots of slow breathe in, slow breathe out, and chat. There's beneficial things to everything. But if you're fighting it, you will have a problem. If your mind cannot change, that's not human society. That's a universal energy changing. If our mind cannot change with that, we will have a problem. One day, human beings will disappear from this universe. If we can't change with that, we will go out big suffering and very unhappy. So in our personal life, in our social life, in this whole world, how become one with this world? But first, cut your opposites thinking. But that's very difficult to do, because originally there's no opposites. It's made by human beings thinking. You know, in America, most people, not everybody, think the World Trade Center going down was really bad. But many people in the world thought, good. Now America knows what it feels like. The only thing you can say truthfully is the 2 buildings went down. How we reacted to it was my idea, my feeling about it, which isn't unimportant, but it's not the original truth of the universe. If we understand each other's feelings, then we don't want to do that kind of thing to each other. In your own personal life, if you understand that, you won't do it to your family members. And finally, you won't do it to yourself. We think of world peace. How are we going to get world peace? But even one country can't be peaceful. Where in the world is the one country where everybody's peaceful? Religions can't be peaceful. Also, inside families, husband and wife fighting, children and parents fighting. Also, you. Last night was a Friday night. What did you do last night? Maybe eat a lot, drink. That time, your stomach probably said, okay, enough, stop. But your mouth said, I want more, I want more. You can't even make peace between your mouth and your stomach. Why do you think world peace is possible? Or getting a good husband or wife? If you can't make peace within this world right here, how can you make peace with others? Not possible. So, regardless of what you decide to do with your life, if you try something like meditation, and there's many kinds in the world, you can make peace. Not just good feeling. You can let your wisdom come out. And wisdom is not something we carry around in our head. That's like knowledge from books. Wisdom means this moment becoming one with the world and correct action appearing without thinking about it. And you've all done it sometimes. but we just don't give it any attention. So if you don't get anything else from this or from Buddhism, just practice slow breathe in, slow breathe out, put your attention here. In Buddhism, we call anger energy up. Observe yourself when you get angry. Probably your energy's gone up. This area, in my experience, fear, sadness is kind of this area. That's why many places around the world, people beat their chests when they're sad and grieving. Because that's where it is. That's where you experience it bodily. Anger is usually up here. You know, and then sometimes it goes to your hands. Or thinking. If all your energy comes up here, you will go to mental hospital. If all your too much energy comes here, then very strong, too much emotion, very strong opposites thinking appears. They're right, they're wrong, this is good, this is bad. Opposites thinking appears. But originally, sky's blue. Is that good or bad? If you want to get a tan, it's good. If there's been a drought, it's bad. So there is no good in nature. Human beings make good and bad. This is an idea I'd like to present to you. You're scientists, you study it and figure it out. So anyway, Buddhists don't try and avoid suffering. They just realize that the basic common experience is just what you said. Everybody wants happiness, doesn't want suffering. If you get to know suffering well, you can see how it appears and how it disappears. That's all.
So literally you get wise when you suffer, right?
Excuse me?
You get wiser when you suffer.
Yes, so suffering is very important. So actually, if you're a serious Buddhist, you also give yourself suffering, so you learn.
What about happiness? If you are too much happy, you don't get wiser, right? You get...
If it's for you, any emotion is no good. If it's for others, any emotion is okay.
I don't understand that.
Excuse me?
I don't understand that. What does it mean? How do I live that? Like,
that's a good question.
How can I just heard birds. I just can't connect with that. What does it mean?
When your best friend is happy, you feel happy, right? They're successful. Yeah. Well, why not when somebody's in another part of the world? Or somebody you don't even like? If you become one with them, then you also feel that. You know, I rode some donkeys, some mules once down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon when I was around 11. And it was really interesting. There were about 30 of them in a row. And suddenly the one in front of me, as we were walking, started peeing. And then mine started peeing, you know? And then I saw about half the donkeys started peeing. Their minds are connected, you know? I heard that, I don't know, you know, I won't say that. Birds. How do birds do that? They fly in a flock and they turn and they don't run into each other. How do they do that? I mean, when humans fly jets, they're talking to each other. Okay, 200 degrees north on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. But the birds aren't doing that. How do they do that? They have one mind. Human beings also get one mind all the time. If mothers can have one mind with the kid will not become crazy. In my experiences, most the reasons we become crazy is nobody connects with us and understands our mind. And the best way to connect is just like the birds do. Koreans have a word for that. It's nunchi. It means you go into a room, maybe everybody's talking, you go into a room and then you just start talking your thing. Then they look at you like, we were doing something else here. That means no nunchi. You go into a room and right away you get the feeling of what's happening and you can make harmony with it. So there's even an emotional, intuitive thing about that. We have that ability already. but we don't nurture it at all. We nurture opposites thinking, which creates desire, anger, and ignorance. And those things cause stupid action. What do I mean by stupid action? Action that creates suffering. I'm not sure about the Quran, but I know in the Bible it says you reap what you sow. In Buddhism it says cause and effect are clear. You do some bad action to somebody, hurt them, one day that will come back to you. You make somebody happy, one day that will come back to you. That would be wisdom. Why do we go around making so much suffering? Because we have so much opposites thinking. If you lose your opposites thinking, if your mind returns to its original empty nature, other people's minds is reflected in your mind. Just like the birds' minds are reflected in each other's mind, and they suddenly can turn at the same time. One of them always sort of goes off that way, you know, but they don't run into each other. How do they do that? We think we're so high class. It's very sad. Cleverness will destroy us. But there's something better than cleverness, our own natural wisdom. It's our own nature, our own substance. It's who we are, not just us. Originally, your substance and the substance of the whole universe is the same. So how do you nurture that? I ask you, what are you? That way, words would be don't know. Just keep returning to that. Then don't know is talking, don't know is drinking. Don't keep making I. Look back at yourself and realize how I keep making I in different situations. My teacher used to travel around with two magnets. They were flat and round, and they had a hole in the center. Then he'd carry a pencil, and he'd put one on, and then he'd put the other one on, and they would attach to each other. Then even if you lift the top one up, the bottom one comes up with it. Everybody understands that. Then he'd pull it off, turn it over, and stick it on, and it would float above the bottom one. Then even if you pushed them together, boom. Even if you took the bottom one and lifted it up, the top one would stay floating above it. So there's energy between those magnets that we cannot see. In the same way, human beings' consciousness has energy between each other. If we make opposites thinking, me and you, consciously in our mind, then it's like these magnets that can't go together. Then even if we push them together in something, for example, we call marriage, boom, it'll pop apart. It's just the way it is, you know. But if we turn that over, take away our opposites thinking, then boom, you can become one with everything. You and the sky, you and the water, you and the earth, you and animals, you and each other. Then other people's mind is reflected in your mind like a mirror. If you say, I understand your thinking, it's already too late, automatically. And everybody's had those experiences in their life where you just automatically understood what was happening and maybe could say something or do something that took away somebody's suffering, that made somebody feel like they're not alone. So how to do that, the root of it is looking back and questioning, what is this thing I call I? What time do we go to? What time do we go? Meshi 끝났어요.
Yeah, this time.
Now?
Yeah, now.
I have one important thing I'd like to say to them, because originally you said to me 9. So I'm going to steal 5 minutes. You guys can consider this for the future, but I take it you're all studying science. Is that right? Most of you? For thousands of years, human beings have, first we fought over, territory for food or something. But then we created religions, and we've controlled our societies with religion. And sometimes the religions would fight. The last 2 centuries, The dominating forces in the world in which we organized society and created our fighting were economic. And the big thing was capitalism and communism. And they're both gone, you know. Communism doesn't exist even in China, even in North Korea. And capitalism is not its original way. It's just total greed. And now there's only one important thing, society-wise, to most societies: money. Get money. So money has nothing. It has no direction at all. So our societies have no direction. So in 1999, I was in Malaysia with my teacher, and some Buddhist magazine asked him, "What do you think about the next century, you know, the 21st century?" And he said, before human beings organize and control societies with religious ideas, then 200 years with economic ideas. He said this century, he thinks two kinds: science power and mind power. Then, and they will fight each other. You know, science is getting more and more powerful. When I was young, if somebody was crazy, they would give them some drugs. In the 90s, the drugs became more sophisticated. Now they think about, you know, genetic engineering or manipulating the brain. So this century, science will become more and more powerful, and more the way we organize this world and the way in which we think. And mind power. That is some religious faith or meditation, that kind of thing. Then he said 4 groups: good science people, bad science people, good mind power, bad mind power. So whatever you're going into, if you spend some time looking back at yourself, first, you can reduce your stress. Second, you can begin to see things more clearly. It's not always easy because our conditioning, our thinking, and our body is very strong. But it's worth it. So, and I think you can do this with any religion. Actually, what we always said is if you practice this Zen meditation this way, if you're a Christian, 100% correct Christian. How can a Christian go around and kill people? I don't understand that. You know, Jesus was like, here. You know, how can a Christian like go someplace and make weapons? I really don't understand that. If you're Buddhist, 100% Buddhist. If you're Muslim, 100% Muslim. You and God become one. If you don't make I. You know, in Rome, there's God and man almost touching. That's because man keeps thinking I. Originally, there's no separation. So, if we investigate this I, you can overcome the ignorance, desire, and anger that is fueling all the conflict and suffering in the world. And even if you're not thinking about the whole world, in your personal life. I had a great thing with my mother. Every time I haven't lived there since 1968. Go home once a year. So after I became a monk, it was like, when are you moving back here? When are you coming here? Every answer I gave was wrong. I'm a Zen master. I couldn't even answer my mother. Finally, after 10 years, she's asking me, and I look at her, and something different enters my mind. By itself, she's short, she's kind of round. Now she's 90 years old. I put my arms around her, shook her, and said, I love you! And she went, She never asked me again why I'm not moving home. She was never asking that to begin with. This happens all the time in our lives. She changed. The next year she said, you know, you could teach in the university. Then I said, I don't want to teach in the university. That went on 10 years. Then recently it was, you know, you could teach in the university. I don't want to teach in university. Then she said, you could teach Buddhism. So people move closer to each other. Anyway, I would love to continue talking informally or anything, anytime. And I hope you have a good experience. If you haven't been out of your country until this time, it's a great thing to do. I've lived half my life out of the country in Europe, Mexico, and in Asia. And it gives you don't know mind automatically. And I hope you're very successful in whatever you do and find happiness. Thank you. Just standing. You know, that's not their style. But oh yeah, you have to learn temple style.
You are so